Good evening, everyone. For those who weren't at our main meeting, my name is Ruth Papazian, and I'm going to run to unseat Alexandria Ocasio. I'm sure you've heard of her, and not a lot of good things. She's become quite the celebrity, saying and doing outrageous things, passing legislation that helps our district, providing constituent services. No, none of that. None of it. The House of Representatives is a federal position with national implications on issues such as tax and education policy, border control and national security, healthcare, and infrastructure. This being the case, I knew from the start that I would have to run a national campaign, though the battle to defeat AOC would be waged in the East Bronx and Northwest Queens. I knew I needed a campaign that went beyond the borders of CD14, a campaign that transcended local rivalries, conflicts of interest, and depleted GOP bank accounts. A campaign that would be closely followed by the media because of the notoriety of my opponent. I knew this, but the national spotlight cuts both ways. It seems that every other day, a carpetbagger or opportunist is declaring an intention to run against AOC. Some are moving here from other states, others are changing their party affiliation so that they can run as Republicans. Well, as the old saying goes, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. The fact is, AOC received extensive media and message training from the Justice Democrats during the last election cycle. She also had an army of Democratic Socialists nationwide to help her launch her campaign. Any GOP candidate who runs against her now also needs to put in the effort and the money to run a campaign that's ready for prime time, but with little to no help from the local, state, or national GOP. People in other parts of the country have the luxury of voting for a GOP congressional candidate who is well-funded and has a staff comprised of seasoned campaign professionals. But what do we typically get? A one-man band who has almost no grassroots funding, no funding from the National Republican Congressional Committee or the local, state, or national GOP, and minus the campaign staff, media coverage, and get out the vote effort that it takes to be competitive. But I have no intention of running this race the way other candidates have run it in the past. With each election, turnout is becoming lower and lower in our district and throughout the city. Why is this? It's because the GOP almost never runs a viable candidate, a viable alternative to a Democrat that many voters find unacceptable. Voters here deserve better. They deserve a candidate who respects them and loves the community enough to put up a real fight, to run a professional campaign, to do her utmost to defeat an opponent that voters in both parties want out of office. So, I just completed a one-week course at the Women's Campaign School at Yale to learn the nuts and bolts of how a campaign is organized and run, and best practices regarding polling, media, messaging, and get out the vote. More than 600 women applied for this campaign boot camp, and I was one of only 80 that were accepted. Now, the Yale boot camp was heavily weighted towards Democrats. Most of the lecturers were Democrat operatives, and all but a handful of the students were Democrats as well. I went into the belly of the beast to find out how Democrats win elections, even though they have policies that are dangerous and destructive. New York Times political reporter Maggie Astor, who was embedded with the boot camp students, interviewed me and several other Republican women in an article that actually was published online yesterday. What we told her should be a wake-up call for the GOP establishment. I'm going to read just a few relevant graphs from the article, if you don't mind. Quote, Republicans lag strategically in several areas, in recruiting female candidates, training them, funding them, and helping them through primaries. The phrase "in Emily's list for the right" has been the rallying cry of many groups, but none have anywhere near the same resources or influence. Emily's List, built to elect Democrat women who support abortion rights, spent more than $100 million in the 2018 cycle alone. The GOP value in electing Women PAC, by comparison, has spent about $6.5 million over 2 decades. Do the math, okay? Now here's where I come in. Ruth Papazian, a Republican who is challenging Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in New York, said she had seen the funding differences directly. On the left, they blanket all the races with money because they don't know who's going to rise to the top, and they want to make sure that an up-and-coming talent doesn't die on the vine for lack of money. Republicans don't do that. The New York Times reporter adds that, quote, Republican women are mobilizing to get themselves elected because they no longer believe the party will do it. And we can sure know something about that. I invested the time and effort for intensive campaign training because our district and you deserve nothing less than a candidate who is polished and has a professional campaign organization around her with a track record of success. People all over the U.S. know that our district is the epicenter in the war on socialism because AOC continues to recruit and endorse socialists for public office, like Tiffany Caban here in Queens, and Elliot Engel, a moderate House Democrat who represents the district adjacent to mine in the Bronx. He's going to be primaried by socialists next year. Should Engel fall, will the local GOP give the socialists a tough fight? No. Or will it be AOC all over again? Do you want 2 AOCs representing the Bronx and Queens? No. Do you want 2 AOCs ganging up with the likes of Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib? Do you want 2 AOCs doing everything they can to destroy our country and our way of life? No. Nobody knows who the GOP is going to run to fight for Engel's seat and whether that candidate even stands a chance. But what you do know right now is that in me, you have a candidate who will fight as hard as she can to unseat the original AOC. The only way to stop socialism is to stop AOC. For this reason, Americans around the country are rallying around my campaign. Several top GOP operatives told me that this is going to be a $2 million to $5 million race. Through my social media activity alone, I raised enough anti-AOC grassroots money to have to register with the FEC. I am now kicking it up several notches and bringing in a call-time manager with a Rolodex of GOP donors who want AOC out of office. And a much larger grassroots campaign will be conducted using email blasts, text blasts, and online advertising to reach thousands of patriots nationwide. Thank you. $2 million and $5 million are eye-popping numbers, though. So I need your support here at home, too. I need you. The entire district needs you to join my campaign as a volunteer and donor at ruthforcongress.com. We can take back CD14 and have a voice in Congress again. But I need you to step up now. Republicans have a habit of sitting on their hands until they are sure that there won't be a primary or nobody else is going to run or 10,000 other reasons. But the fact of the matter is, AOC got early money from socialist, activist groups, Soros, progressive groups, etc. from the jump. She raised $2 million against a candidate that raised $8,000. So what do you do with that money when you have it right off the bat? Well, right off the bat, you hire professional people. You hire somebody to do a logo. You hire somebody to put up a website. You hire somebody to do more fundraising. You hire strategists. You buy TV time. You do all that stuff. But with Republicans, it's like the Hunger Games, okay? You have to sort of go through some gauntlet or something and manage to hang on until you have a certain amount of money, whether it's $250,000, etc. Then maybe one of those lovely PACs for women candidates may give you money. But then again, maybe not, because we're a blue district and the GOP tends to write off blue districts. Not like the Justice Democrats. The Justice Democrats will contest every race because they think that if they contest every race, the odds are, over time, the odds are for them. They'll flip one, then they'll flip another, then they'll flip another. It may take a year, 2 years, 3 election cycles, whatever, but they rack up the wins. We've got to do the same thing. You know, I'm not embarrassed to say this. I mean, there was a reason I went to Yale. I wanted to find out why Democrats are so successful and why we're not. We have got to support a candidate that we think has the moxie, the guts, the commitment to go the distance, especially in CD14. This should be a marquee race. President Trump declared a war on socialism, and AOC is the standard bearer of socialism in the US. So we should act like this is a marquee race. We should coalesce behind our candidates. Now, I am the only declared candidate, FEC registered, the whole shebang, the whole 9 yards. So I'm asking you to coalesce behind me and donate to my campaign early so that I can bring on all the professionals that I need to run the kind of campaign that other people in other parts of the country take for granted. For years, I was on Facebook. I was the keyboard warrior. I was telling people, why can't we win races? Why does this happen? Why does that happen? So finally, I decided to get out from behind the keyboard and do it myself. But I need your help, because I can't do it alone, okay? I want to bring on world-class campaign operatives, people that will be known to the political reporters, people that will put this campaign on the map, people that will put this district on the map. Why should AOC have all that and we don't? Does she deserve it?
Hell no.
Okay, no, she doesn't. And yet, Hollywood and Silicon Valley are throwing gobs of money at her. The other day, she had the gall to brag that she doesn't have to have a call time manager and dial for dollars. Well, you don't have to do that because people are throwing money at you. She must have about $1 million already.
The putana?
Okay? So, okay, George Soros, that's great. George Soros, we know about that. But George Soros is not preventing anybody in this room from donating to my campaign. So let's not use George Soros as an excuse. I'm going to put it out there, flat out. Right now, I am talking to some of the top campaign operatives in the country. I need to be able to hire them. I need your help to do that. I need your help and, frankly, your financial support. I want to go up against AOC. I want to kick her ass out of office for you. If you want it as bad as I want to do it for you, write a check to Papazian 2020. Go to ruthforcongress.com. Pull out your damn wallets and make it happen. Make it rain, people! Thank you. May God bless you. May God bless America.